To many in law enforcement, snitching against another cop is a betrayal that can't go unpunished. Those who enforce this code, the blue wall of silence, have stuffed dead rats and feces into fellow officers' lockers. They've issued death threats, ignored requests for backup, threatened family members and planted drugs on the officers who reported wrongdoing. Department leaders often condone these reprisals or pile on by launching internal investigations to discredit those who expose misconduct. Whistleblowers have been fired, jailed, and, in at least one case, forcibly admitted to a psychiatric ward. The pattern of behavior is both destructive and widespread throughout policing, a USA Today investigation found. Departments across the country have adopted an unofficial system of retaliation that allows misconduct to persist and helps police leaders avoid accountability. And while communities of color and other marginalized groups bear the brunt of police brutality, the profession is blind to race, gender, and seniority when it comes to punishing officers who try to expose these practices.
You hear from the police officials from time to time. Always bad apples. Yeah, but what are you doing to weed them out? We can do our job. Law enforcement officers can do their jobs and do it the right way without violating other people's rights. If there's hostility against police, it's because of incidents like that. And when it's complained about, many instances, they don't see justice. I believe that's how you're going to break that culture. That culture of trying to protect other officers when they know they are bad apples. Justice starts with police, man. My experience with police control the flow of a lot of information. You remember that.
Police unions play a critical role in enforcing the blue wall of silence. They often back cops accused of misconduct during court and disciplinary hearings, but not those who turn them in. In East Haven, Connecticut, a sergeant who tried to intimidate a fellow officer by holding a gun to his chest was hired by the union to help officers involved in on-duty shootings.
They did conspire, and they put together lies in a report that resulted in my termination. And that jury said, not only did you violate his civil rights, but the manner in which that it was done, it was with malice. And because it was with malice, we're going to assess punitive damages against you for that. I think about a month later, the judge took into consideration everything that was done in court, and he issued order of reinstatement.
Sometimes doing the right thing does cost you. It does hurt you financially, it does hurt you mentally, but in the end, you did the right thing.
It has to be change. Biggest fear, no change at all, then you're going to have more Eric Lurie's, more George Floyd's, more wasted lives.
For those who choose to expose wrongdoing among their peers, the personal consequences can be devastating. Moses Black's life unraveled just before midnight on Good Friday, 2015. Black, then a veteran officer at the Gonzales Police Department in Louisiana, saw a sergeant twice kick a handcuffed man who had just been pepper sprayed. "Get the fuck up," the sergeant barked, according to Black. The man, who had epilepsy, hit his head on the concrete floor and began to convulse. He later recovered at the hospital. 2 other officers witnessed the incident but didn't report it. Black did. Black, a towering man with broad shoulders betrayed by a slouch, told USA Today he spent his life savings on legal bills in a fruitless effort to fight the case. He applied for jobs at law enforcement agencies all over the state but believes he was blackballed. So now he fixes air conditioning units in sweltering attics for $19 an hour.
My first day back, I walked into the station. There was people that I knew that I didn't know anymore. The faces they would give me, the way they would look at me in disgust and turn around. They acted like I killed somebody.
It's unwritten, but I believe it's there that retaliation would follow if you decide that you're not going to go along just to get along. Yes, that's part of the culture, man, that police work under. And they know that.
I saw a lot of things going on that I didn't agree with. Drugs being planted on individuals, search warrants being done without proper consent. I've seen them utilize street-level prostitutes to set up drug dealers illegally. So when I spoke to the administration and voiced my concern, I was told that it would be dealt with. And obviously, after speaking to the administration, the supervisor in narcotics found out that I had spoken with the administration. And so I had been receiving information from other people that they were trying to come after me, which I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, so I didn't think I had anything to worry about. Ultimately, the supervisors, along with another detective and officer, retaliated against me by using a confidential informant to set me up. My attorney and I felt as though it was a safety issue because people get desperate. It's no telling what extent they'll go to try and hurt you or discredit you. So we felt as though it would be better for me to go ahead and resign from the department.
In 1994, the Mullen Commission found more of the same issues at the NYPD. Officers stole drugs and sold them, sometimes shooting those they robbed. They admitted to pouring ammonia and boiling water on inmates, taking bribes from prostitutes, and routinely beating suspects with nightsticks. Dozens of officers told the commission they were afraid to report the crimes they witnessed because of what happened to those who had done it before. Outspoken detectives and internal affairs investigators found their lockers burned, tires slashed, and dead rats on their windshields.
Always tell the truth. The words of a Chicago police sergeant who says he's being punished for telling the truth about an officer-involved shooting. CBS 2's Jim Williams reports the whistleblower is filing a lawsuit against the city.
When off-duty Chicago Police Sergeant Khalil Muhammad fired those shots at 18-year-old Ricardo Hayes in August 2017, wounding him twice, Muhammad told the 911 operator he had no choice.
What happened? Hey, this is Chicago Police Sergeant Muhammad. He was about to pull a gun on me, walked up to the car, and I had to shoot.
But Sergeant Isaac Lampert, investigating the shooting, saw it differently. He believes, and the video shows, Hayes running from Sergeant Muhammad.
I didn't feel as though the shooting, the way the department wanted to portray it, was correct and accurate.
Lambert says his superiors wanted him to approve a final detective report that called Muhammad the victim and Hayes the offender. Lambert refused.
Always tell the truth and always do what's right.
Lambert says his bosses have retaliated, moving him from the coveted detective division to patrol.
This is the form that retaliation takes. That's being transferred out of a job that he loved, being a detective, where he'd been doing a good job for 9 years, back to the patrol division, which is definitely viewed by everyone as a step backward.
Therese and Katie, former State Trooper Carl Cavalier says he was disturbed by what he learned about the death of Ronald Green. Green, you'll remember, was killed after body cam video shows him being beaten by state police in Monroe in 2019. Cavalier felt that what happened was being covered up, so he spoke out and later was fired.
It created like a shock to me. It created like a level of disappointment that I'm still recovering from now. the fact that these guys are actively covering up a murder.
That was former state trooper Carl Cavalier speaking to WWL-TV investigative reporter Mike Perlstein just over a year ago about the death of Ronald Green. The whistleblower said he first heard about the case in early 2020.
And an investigator who had knowledge of the case and who also viewed the video early on before anyone else and was speaking about how gruesome the video was.
Police initially said Green died in a crash after a chase, but body cam footage later showed Green stun-gunned, beaten, and dragged while in handcuffs and shackles, begging for his life.
You know, it can happen to anyone. My family member, your family member. I just want the right thing to be done.
That's why Cavalier went against department policy and first spoke out to WBRZ in Baton Rouge in June 2020. He received a warning letter, then was fired early this year with state police citing his lack of loyalty to the department.
I'm sure there gonna be some people, man, who's not gonna like what I've said on this camera. But if you're telling the truth, why should it bother anybody? Truth only bothers people, man, who know they're doing wrong, who know they're perpetrating out here against the innocent. I really enjoyed my work. I really did. I enjoyed being out there among the people. I look forward to coming home to my family. My wife, Cassandra. We got 41 years together. 3 of our sons are in law enforcement right now. What you've heard me say about police being accountable and respectful, that goes for them too.
Giving you a badge and a gun isn't going to make you the good police officer. It's going to corrupt the power that you have to take somebody's life or take their freedom away. But I want to see law enforcement changed. I want to see where people believe that there's more good cops.
We have to figure out a way in policing to make sure that everybody has a voice. If we always err on the side of integrity and we listen to the public when the public asks questions and scrutinizes our work, we will always come out on top.
I just want to see police reform all throughout this whole country, but I want to see a true whistleblower reform that protects law enforcement. What they have out there right now is a joke. Because I can tell you there's probably, out of 750,000 plus officers, I bet you there's a third of them that have seen something that they can't speak about because they're afraid it's going to happen to them what happened to me.
I hate this stuff. I've spent my life addressing this foolishness, man. I've been ridiculed, I've been ostracized, I've been felt the pain, the misery for wanting to see it done right. That's why I'm passionate about it. But I'm not one who's willing to give up, because there is hope. We may not can curb it all, but we can curb the majority of it. This time we bring common sense back to policing.